In parts 1, 2 and 3 of these 4 10-minute films on the F-111 mission simulator, we saw the first 18 months for crews learning to operate Australia's deadly supersonic strike aircraft. After learning basic operation of the aircraft and its systems, crews have been introduced to tactical thinking and use of the weapons platform as part of more complex strike packages. After 12 months, crews are declared operational as wingmen and transferred to Australia's fighting No. 1 squadron. The learning curve then steepens as instructors go on to identify and develop leadership skills. Crews learn the trade of the flight lead. Now, after 18 months training, aircrew are expected to have acquired all the skills and tactical awareness necessary to operate the F-111 in combat. For the first time, the goals of training turn to consolidation. However, the training process is not at an end. Now the simulator instructors become involved in the process of selecting which crews have the potential to progress from flight leads to senior tactical leaders responsible for multiple aircraft.
RAAF Base Amberley is the home of the F-111. All of the boys and girls, the men and women who fly this aeroplane, come through the simulator on a very regular basis as part of their initial training and as part of their ongoing currency training. And here we teach them how to use the aircraft systems, we teach them how to fight, we put them into simulated combat environments, the likes of which they can only dream of. Anything that the aeroplane is ever likely to be called upon to do, we'll do with them in the simulator. We take the best, we make them better. Yep. You're going to go upside down at that stage. So you're on your way there. Cool. All right. That's good. Fellas, you're about to be in the game. You're on. At the moment, they're part of a coalition package, so there's 4 strike aircraft with support, about 6, we call them blue air support. So they've got their own fighters accompanying them, and they've got guys in there with the specific job of suppressing enemy air defences. On the other side, there's about 6 red air waiting for them, so there's a squadron of MiGs. So they've got a couple of laser-guided bombs. They've got to take down a power station and then get themselves out of Dodge and back home safely. At the moment, in the short term, the red air's been tied up by blue air, so they don't have to worry too much about fighters, but they've got a couple of fairly intense bands of surface-to-air activity. So at the moment, their main focus is in surviving and avoiding any of the AAA. And what you're seeing right now is the guys, in fact, avoiding a bunch of surface-to-air activity.
Up to now, the scenarios the crew have been flying have been tightly controlled. But now the phenomenal gaming power of the mission simulator is unleashed. The rules-based, artificially intelligent entities representing enemy planes, ships and defences are allowed to react freely. Crews may lose AWAC support midway through a mission. Supporting fighters may fail to suppress enemy squadrons of MiGs.
The aircraft's got quite a few self-defence options, so it's got chaff and flare. It's got electronic self-defence as well, so they're using a combination of those, plus using the terrain. The best thing we can do is hide behind hills or in valleys. And the guys are manoeuvring the aeroplane in 3 dimensions and using all of their electronic countermeasures to avoid these rather nasty little surprises we've got for them. At the moment, they're working below 250 feet. They're authorised down to 135 feet in today's scenario. And they're travelling at around between 550 and 600 knots. They're pretty busy at the moment. On top of that, they're managing aircraft systems, bringing up weapons systems, making sure the bombs are appropriately armed. The guy in the right seat's now got to manage his sensor suite to make sure that the bombs are aimed at the right point in space. So it's typical of a lot of simulated combat sorties. It's 80% boredom and 20% sheer terror. At the moment, they're going through sheer terror.
In these advanced scenarios, the simulator instructors do not intervene. They allow the scenario to play its course and analyse the crew's tactical decision-making. The goal is to identify those pilots and air combat officers who are capable of going on to advanced flying training to become flight combat instructors, qualified flight instructors, test pilots or airborne instructors.
So the MSRs that you're looking at...
These top crews take the lead in managing real-life exercises such as red flag or pitch black. and are expected also to become involved in the training of younger crews.
The advantage with the simulator was that we could actually recreate Nellis Air Force Base. So when the guys actually flew out of there for the first time, they had those procedures down pat.
Their experience in these war games, where they are pitted against real surface-to-air missile installations and other enemy threats, is fed back into the simulator to improve its realism. Ranges of missiles and the different modes and frequencies of enemy radars are all incorporated by the simulator technicians. After 24 months intensive training in both the simulator and the real aircraft, the RAAF produces experienced F-111 air crews ready to go to war.
With sim training, you try and balance training outcomes versus their repetition of their competencies. So we can't beat them to death every time they come in here, or they won't want to come in here. So at the moment, their focus is on using the aircraft successfully to deliver this weapon. When they come off target, then we'll stress them up a bit, and we'll try and take them to the next level of training. So the ability to multitask is very, very important to these crews. So as well as flying, managing their own systems, they've got to be able to talk to the rest of the guys in their package, keep SA of where the fight is, so that they know, well, when I come off target, there's going to be a fight 30 miles to the south. I can't afford to go there. They're getting towards the business end of it now, so they're about a minute away from a weapons release. They've got one more belt of surface-to-air missiles to fight their way through, and then we'll let them get their bomb off. So right now the right seater's starting to focus in on his systems. He's using his radar and his PaveTac infrared pod to find the target and get the laser designator pointing at the right spot. The left seater's focus now is on picking up all of the tactical work involved and flying a toss delivery, which in itself is a very demanding three-dimensional manoeuvre.
The toss manoeuvre is designed to throw a bomb a fair distance, and that's the purpose of it. So the aircraft comes in at a reasonable speed, somewhere between 540 and 600 knots. 4G pull up to release the weapon, roll, turn, guide the weapon in at the same time from the right seat as the pilot's flying the manoeuvre from the left, roll out, re-engage the autopilot on a TFR, back down and away.
Ray's just building the pressure now, so oh my God, these guys are getting closer. We're still guiding our bomb in. The laser's firing, the bomb's tracking it. Beautiful. So he's hit the point on the ground that he intended to. Now they've got to stay alive and get out of dodge.
Developed over a period of 18 years, the F-111 mission simulator was crucial to the maintenance of Australia's strategic air superiority and longevity of its main long-range strike aircraft. Together with the AUP update program in the 1990s, the mission simulator played a key role in extending the life of a 30-year-old combat aircraft well into the 20th century. It allowed the RAAF to train crews to the highest level of preparedness, improved safety by allowing crews to perfect dangerous manoeuvres and tactics without leaving the ground, and even served as a test platform for landing a stricken jet without its undercarriage.
2006, an F-111 on takeoff actually lost a wheel. We were able to use the simulator to look at a number of approach options to get that aeroplane back for a wheels-up landing, approach and cable engagement. And once we'd used the sim to come up with the correct approach angle, or the most optimum approach angle, we passed those numbers to the crew airborne, and they executed it perfectly, and we ended up with a fantastic result of a safely recovered aeroplane. The guys and girls out flying the aeroplane now are doing things in the simulator that they could have only dreamed of 15 years ago. Fighting modern regional threats, using the aeroplane to the maximum of its capability.
The F-111 mission simulator represented a unique partnership between the RAAF and Australian defence industries. Because rights to the simulator were owned by the RAAF, it could be modified throughout its lifetime to reflect modifications to the aircraft, threats in the region, and new weapons or other acquisitions by defence.
Target with the results.
Thanks to the efforts of a passionate team of software and hardware engineers and the far-sightedness of defence planners in the 1990s, the F-111 mission simulator was an unparalleled success in the history of Australian defence procurement.
It's been a great investment for the Australian government.